Sure, folks in the metro area and in Slidell are glad we did not see much in the way of rain today, but we do need more. We'll keep the mention of some showers in the forecast over the next several days, but kind of like what we saw today, not much. As a matter of fact, most of our rainfall was either out to our west or a little farther into southwestern Mississippi, so most of us stayed dry during the day today, and it looks like we'll stay relatively dry through the overnight period and for much of the day tomorrow. 10–20% chance it looks to be during the afternoon and early evening hours on Wednesday. So aside from an isolated shower or thunderstorm kind of bubbling up with daytime heating, we're not going to see much in the way of rain, so our drought will continue. As a matter of fact, what kind of helped some of the showers during the day today, this is the upper disturbance that had been parked over East Texas all weekend. As that is lifting north, you've got this little almost string of instability that's kind of hanging from behind that helped the showers that got developed today come to kind of get triggered. But over the next couple of days, that little feature moves on, the upper high starts building in, and our temperatures will be coming up. Now, it is positive that the upper high is not going to be right on top of us, so we are still open for little upper disturbances to help our rain chances. And in fact, one such upper disturbance will be an upper trough that deepens from the Ohio Valley, really the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and toward the East Coast. And this should be enough to push a cold front on through for the weekend. Not really tapping into cooler air just yet, but helping to bring in some less humid air. But this upper troughing pattern looks to continue even beyond this coming week and going into next week, which is likely what will take, at this point, likely a major Hurricane Lee away from the East Coast. Now, if I'm Bermuda, I'm watching this one very, very closely, and certainly still keeping an eye on it if I'm on the East Coast, but it has looked consistent based on the model trends, especially if we get a deep upper trough like that. As I said, the trough for us, what it'll help to do is push a front on into the area. That'll likely trigger a better chance for some showers Friday and into early Saturday and bring with it some drier air, so our humidity will be coming down too. A 40% chance for rain Friday into early Saturday, and then it looks like the rest of the weekend dry and a bit less humid. However, we're not yet tapping into any cooler air, so high temperatures this weekend, despite the drier air, will still be in the lower 90s. So the heat continues as we roll through September, but even if we can get a few days of less humid air, it'll feel a whole lot nicer. Outside at the moment, also saw a lot more sunshine during the day today. 92 degrees, our current temperature with a dew point of 72. Today's high was 93, so we are still running above normal, not quite to records, although as we head toward the end of the week, we may start seeing more mid to upper 90s. In the low 90s outside at the moment, where we got some storms up in Macomb down to 81 degrees there. Quick check of the tropics. The only active system that we have currently is Lee. It's kind of being overlapped with what was Invest 95. So Lee has developed and it looks very healthy. It really was starting to show that structure even late yesterday when it was still just an Invest, but you see that strong outflow. In other words, these storms as they develop and fire up near the center have room to grow into the upper atmosphere, and that is the type of pattern that you tend to see with a rapidly intensifying storm and one that could become a stronger hurricane, and that is the expectation. There's also been fairly decent consistency with the models keeping it north of the islands and eventually making that turn away from the East Coast. And as far as the strength goes, everything has been indicating that this could become a very powerful monster. By this weekend, maybe a 4 to a 5. There really doesn't look to be anything in the atmosphere that would hinder this from rapidly intensifying in the coming days, but also becoming a major hurricane. Euro model has been kind of on that from really last week when it was just a wave, and everything still points to that becoming a strong storm off the U.S. East Coast, so not a threat for the Gulf. We'll stay under partly cloudy skies this evening in the 80s, overnight lows into the 70s. Another day of mostly sunny skies or partly cloudy and a high of around 93 degrees. We'll start to pick up our rain chances slightly Thursday and Friday into early Saturday with the front. We still are hot into the weekend, not record temperatures, but certainly above normal, but it will be a bit less humid, probably continuing into Monday and still relatively dry into early next week.